Hello, everyone. A big shout out, please, to all of you. And let me also tell you that we are going live streaming on YouTube. So if your parents are at home, they'll be watching this. So, Manu? A warm welcome to all of you. And as Manu tells me, boarding complete. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome on board MICA 2023. A few of you may have heard this earlier because you are frequent flyers, but most of you are come new on this aircraft. So I am Setu Iyer, I'm the host of this evening. The pilot of the aircraft is Dr. Shayendraraj Mehta, President and Director Mica. And the co-pilot is Dr. Geeta Hegde, our Dean. Our crew members, who are our faculty and staff, and with whom you will be interacting during the course of this journey of yours, are very versatile and proficient in many languages. Apart from English, of course, they know Hindi, Gujarati, Malayalam, Kannada, Tamil, Bengali, and Odia. So I'm sure you'll feel free to talk to them and reach out to them during the course of your journey. The Mica admission team tells me that we received more than 9,000 applications this year. And here you are, more than 200 PGP students, more than 20 CCC students, and 8 FPM students. A big round of applause. So if you do a small, quick analysis, you'll come to know that for every 42 applicants, we chose one person eligible to enter into Mica, one Mican. तो देखिए कैसे एक माइकन इतनों पे भारी पड़ सकता है. देखिए. The entire flight would take 4 years or 4 hours, depending on which side of the washroom door you are, but takes 4 years. The first to disembark would be the CCC students who would be finishing their program next year. Following this, we'll have the PGP who will be disembarking during the convocation, which will happen in 2025. And finally, we'll have the FPM who will graduate here after 4 years. So students are requested to remain seated and allow the other passengers to disembark. During the flight, you might experience turbulence at certain times. This is natural and more felt during exams and during placement season. But you don't have to worry too much. And in the unlikely event of the aircraft landing on water, don't panic. You won't get wet because we are in a dry state. So fasten your seat belts, कुर्सी की पेटी कस के बांध दीजिए, because the flight is ready to take off. So here you are, the PGP, the CCC, and the FPM of 2023. A big round of applause. And as with any program or event at Mica, we have the tradition of lighting of the lamp. So may I request Dr. Shayendraraj Mehta, our Dean, Dr. Geeta Hegde, the chief guest, Mr. BASANT RATHORE, and the chairs of the 3 programs, that's Professor Suresh Malodia and Professor Mini Mathur of the PGP, Professor R.M. Simha and Falguni Vasavada Oza of the CCC, and Professor Badikant Mishra and Professor Shafali Gupta of the FPM, and also Professor Shubhra Gaur of the orientation. Chair, if you can all just come here while we light the traditional lamp. A big round of applause. May I now request the pilot of the aircraft, Dr. Shayanraj Mehta, to give you his welcome address. Dr. Mehta.
Thank you, Setu. Mr. BASANT RATHORE, my faculty colleagues, my student friends, and the parents of our students who've come, a warm welcome to Mica. As an academic, this is now my 33rd year. I've been teaching for 33 years now. And this is what keeps me young. I'm advancing in age, but I think mentally, finding a new crop, right? Ek nayi bahar aati hai har ek saal. And it's absolutely wonderful to see all of these bright, young, energetic, hopeful faces that nicely counterbalance, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that many of us who are a little bit older have encountered. So it's a lot of fun for me personally to literally be in the moment when the new fasal, the new crop is coming in. So a warm welcome. Secondly, this is a very, very unusual place that you've come to. And in those 33 years, I've had the privilege of studying and teaching in England, United States, Germany, India, China, Pakistan, all of those places. And I can tell you, after having been in many fine institutions around the world, I won't name them, I can literally say, Mica jaisa koi nahi. And as the saying goes, in God we trust, all else bring data. So I have some data to back it up. Okay? We are the only management school that has not one but two entrance exams and not one but two processes that you have to go through, right? So you take one exam, koi ek aur hota hai, CAT, ZAT, GMAT, koi hai exam jo aap lete ho. But then you take the real exam, that is MyCat, right? And what makes MyCat special is that it's the only exam in the world that tests for balance, right? We don't want lopsided individuals. We don't want, the artsy-fartsy types. We don't just want the logical types. We want people who are both. And that is what the MyCAT exam tests for. It tests for left brain and right brain facility, so to speak. So we choose you differently. And then, of course, the interview that we have. Not only do we have an individual interview, we have a group interview. A group interview where you're not just talking, you're doing. And we're not just talking, but we're observing, right? So you've all been through that. I don't need to explain. That is certainly for PGP. Even for our CCC and FPM interviews, it's done very differently. Now, why am I mentioning this? I'm mentioning this because if we select you differently, and by God, we will educate you very differently, you're going to be a very different animal when you come out. And what do I mean by that? So Setu was kind enough to use the aircraft metaphor. Let me continue with that. How many of you have seen the Shah Rukh Khan movie Pathaan that came out? Can I have a show of hands? How many of you are movie buffs? Itne hi logon ne dekha, I thought everybody would have seen it by now. Certainly everybody at Mica has seen it. All our staff went together to see it. So there's an iconic line there, right, which says, "Kursi ki peti bandh lijiye, mausam kharab hone wala hai." I can tell you, mausam bahut kharab hone wala hai, because there is a new player in town, and I don't know if it's a he or a she or an it, lekin uska naam hai ChatGPT, right? So let me have another show of hands. How many of you have actually used ChatGPT? Okay, everybody. Okay, I'm a little relieved. वरना हम सोचते कि भाई हम किन लोगों को लेके आ गए जिनको आता पता ही नहीं मालूम है. You know, so I'm glad that you've all used ChatGPT. So if you think about it, the world is going to turn upside down. मौसम सचमुच में बहुत खराब होने वाला है. बहुत खराब होने वाला है. Who is going to be left standing at the end of the day? It's not going to be people, you know, who can do coding. तो उनकी भी ज़रूरत होगी. It's not just going to be people who can be, who will be able to build things. उनकी भी ज़रूरत होगी. But really, what will be needed will be people who can translate very seamlessly between the worlds of creativity and the worlds of logic, right? People who can bridge that gap. And I can tell you, from the way in which we have chosen you, there'll be no better people to make that connection, to walk on that bridge, than the Micans. So, and I know our chief guest is nodding vigorously, because he, 20 years ago, whenever he was here, he was also part of that different school of thought, that school of ideas that we now call Mica. And one reason why, and in fact, उनकी दुनिया में तो मौसम बहुत समय से खराब हो चुका है. In media and entertainment, no industry is being turned inside out more rapidly than the media industry, than the newspaper industry of which he is a part. And I'll introduce him very shortly. But when the weather turns bad, जब मौसम खराब होता है, then you really want a Mican. Because honestly, I can tell you, bad weather doesn't faze Micans. Some of you may have read Tintin comics. I don't know, आजकल कोई पढ़ता है कि नहीं, but at least I see parents nodding, right? So there's a character there called Captain Haddock, whose trademark is that उनको सब गालियाँ आती हैं. In fact, if you want a list of the most innovative galis in the English language or in French, or for that matter in Hindi, I think the translators have done a phenomenal job of translating all the galis of Captain Haddock in Hindi. Nobody swears like him. थोड़ा Micans की याद दिलाती है वो. But he has a very interesting quality. You know, when there's a massive storm, he just gets on his raincoat and takes the wheel of the ship, smokes his pipe, and when people come, you know, crashing down and falling and sliding, he says, "Nice weather, isn't it?" So, literally, where everybody else will be reaching for their seat belts, Micans would say, "Nice weather, you know, let's have some fun." That is, every crisis brings with it an opportunity. And so we will live through a series of crises, and nobody better to navigate it than Micans, because honestly, uncertainty doesn't bother Micans. Risk doesn't bother Micans. Ambiguity doesn't bother Micans. So you are very different. And of course, you will be very logical. We'll teach you very logical things, but we'll also teach you very creative things. And as a result, what we will get at the end of it will be individuals who are uniquely ambidextrous, who can use both hands, both sides of their brain equally fluently. So that is basically what you've signed up for. And that is what we've signed up for. That is to give you the kind of management education that you will not get anywhere else. That is management education that is suffused with creativity, suffused with everything that management schools do, but then some more. So with that, let me close with a couple of lines that were given to me in Karachi that I find very appropriate for Mica, that I've used a couple of times before, though not with you. These are lines from Iqbal, who says, and I'll do some translating, right? Alam, as you know, means the world. Ijad means creativity or creation. And tawaf means parikrama, right? So I'll quote the lines, then I'll translate, then I'll quote them again so that you'll understand. So he said, Alam-e-ijad mein jo hai sahib-e-ijad. Sahib also means a leader, right? It is an Arabic word which was used for companions of the Prophet. Anybody who's an exemplar is called sahib. So, Alam-e-ijad mein jo hai sahib-e-ijad, har daur mein uska karta hai tawaf zamana. So let me translate, and then I'll say it again. Alam-e-ijad is a pun. Alam means world, ijad means created. It means both the created world, that is God's world, or the world of creativity. So Alam-e-ijad can be both. Alam-e-ijad mein jo hai sahib-e-ijad. Whoever is the creator in this, or is the leader of creators in this world, har daur mein uska, in every phase, karta hai uska tawaf zamana. Tawaf means parikrama. It is the parikrama that we do in temples. It is the parikrama that devout Muslims do in Kaaba. That's tawaf. So the world evolves around them. So let me repeat again. Alam-e-ijad mein jo hai sahib-e-ijad, har daur mein uska karta hai tawaf zamana. That is my hope for you, that you will enter a world that you will inhabit so thoroughly that it will seem as if it revolves around you. That is my aspiration for you. All the very best. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, sir, for your profound insights as usual. I forgot to mention when I said all the languages which our faculty and staff know, I missed out Urdu. There's nobody as proficient in Urdu as Dr. Mehta. So, but he has to translate it to us because we are very poor. So our Urdu is limited to only Bollywood, but he's very, very profound in that. So now going ahead, I would request Dr. Geeta Hegde, our Dean, to welcome all of you. Ma'am.
Welcome aboard. And I think you forgot another language. I speak a language called Tulu at home. So, anyway, Mr. Rathore, Shika, President, my dear colleagues, faculty, staff, administrative staff, and the family who have accompanied our students, and our very own new batch students. A very warm welcome to all of you and a very good evening. Today is no ordinary celebration, and I'm tremendously delighted to congratulate this immensely brilliant batch that has cracked the aspirational MICAT to enter this journey to excellence. Today, we welcome 196 students for the PGDM and PGDMC programs, 24 for the one-year-long Crafting Creative Communication program, and 8 scholars to our 4-year fellow program in management. On this momentous occasion, I would like to congratulate each one of you on securing a place at Mica. The President already mentioned how unique we are. The School of Ideas here. You all have been selected from amongst thousands of candidates from across the country after excelling in a multitude of assessment and exams. Your presence here today is a testament of your hard work, determination, and unwavering belief in your potential. We are excited to witness the incredible journey ahead for you and are confident that you will leave an indelible mark on the world. We are, and proudly so, known to be unique. The distinguishing qualities of Mica are an environment that spurs innovation and creativity with a solid analytical understanding. It is a place of agility and a deeply collaborative culture that fosters empathy. As a Mican, each one of you will create impact and enduring values for the globe. Mica is not just a place of learning, it is a platform for exploration, experimentation, and self-discovery. Take advantage of the diverse range of courses, workshops, and events that Mica offers. Immerse yourself in the vibrant campus life. Engage in stimulating discussions with your peers and faculty members, and challenge yourself to think beyond the boundaries of traditional thought. As we always say, when you come to Mica, you find yourself. Today marks a special beginning. You are starting a new and a very significant chapter in your lives. No matter where you are from and what you hope to do in the future, this is a time to think boldly and expansively. Education needs us, institutions like Mica, and the field needs you, the Micans. Our commitment to academic excellence is of the highest order. Our campus is a vibrant hub of intellectual, cultural, and sporting activities where you will have ample opportunities to explore your interests and develop your skills. You will see that Mica continuously introduces new learning activities in its pedagogy, curriculum, or approach, thereby establishing itself as a stand-apart niche school as we train our students to creatively solve business and social problems by juxtaposing the right and the left brain, as President already mentioned. Mica's focus since its inception has always been to encourage its students to think out of the box by providing experiential learning, thought through industry involvement. In fact, we have a lot of industry experts coming and interacting with you during the first and the second year, and also with the one-year CCC program, and also with the research scholars here. Mica holds itself to the highest standards of integrity, ethics, and professionalism. As the torchbearers of the Mica legacy, you are expected to uphold these values in everything you do. Let your work be evidence of your dedication, your passion, and commitment to excellence. We consider our students as critical stakeholders and seek their valuable suggestions and input. In fact, I've worked in many institutions, but I don't see any institution and we've interacted with most institutions in the country and outside, and I've never seen any institution that empowers students as much as Mica does. So please use your power with the expressions that I mentioned, and also, for the best of Mica as a whole. So we have multiple student communities that support the student community in participation in intellectual, cultural, sports, music, community service, governance, and others. At Mica, we facilitate each of you to practice new ways of thinking and provide a mirror to examine yourself in your impact on others. In the face of historic opportunities and challenges, we share the same commitments to learn and to change the world. Mica develops empathetic leaders and thinkers who are creative and adaptive problem solvers for a rapidly changing world. We believe that the power of the creative mind and a rational bent is unstoppable, as already mentioned, and that's what you are. And that's what we train you to become as well. I would request you all to engage well with your fellow batchmates, your seniors, Mica faculty and staff, and make good use of the opportunities provided for developing external relationship with society and industry, as much as you carry a lot of fond memories from Mica and the network that you do within Mica community itself. Enjoy and learn from this beautiful campus, your home for the next few years. Welcome to the Mica community.
Thank you, ma'am. And now I would like to request two people, two faculty members who have ensured that you are here today. So these are the admission chairs, Professor Ruchi Tewari and Professor Taral Pathak, to talk to you about the admission process and what actually brought you here at Mica. So, ma'am.
Hello and welcome. Good evening, everybody. I have a short presentation, and I'm also supported in everything that I say with a faculty colleague of mine, slightly shy only for this evening, Taral. Yeah. So what I have for you is just like a short journey, because every year, and for admissions, this moment is a moment of joy and sorrow both. Because at this moment, we know that you are no more a part of the admission process, but you become a part of Mica program. So I'll just walk you through a short journey. Admissions at Mica. This is dedicated to all the students who are here, to your mentors, your teachers, your parents and peers, and of course, I'd like to turn the light inward and want to dedicate it to all internal people, the Mica admission machinery. And this machinery has the faculty colleagues, we have the Mica staff, and needless to say, technology. Technology is a very integral part of the admissions at Mica. So here it is, the Mica dream comes true. This is how I look at it when I look at your journey from the admissions point of view. It's a journey from dreams to realizing it. And I have umpteen examples of students calling just maybe in the month of July on, wondering, quizzing how to write the MICAT, why is it twice a year, what's the cutoff, all of those questions till I see you guys here. Innumerable hours of preparation, and this preparation happens at both the ends. Trust me, we put in hours and hours together to make it a seamless exercise for you. Planning, and then the big thing happens, the MICAT. Over 8,000 students, Setu said 9,000, but just take him in the stride. Over 8,000 to be real. We have 105 questions in the MICAT, 3 sections, descriptive, quantitative, with some 5, 6, and 8 options. And I'm sure the students know what I'm talking about when I'm saying there are questions with 5, 6, and 8 options. This definitely becomes a killer. We have GE and PI happening in 5 cities, 75 plus panels, and we work morning 9 to 6:30 in the evening, inviting our faculties, traveling all the way to different cities, people from the industry, and of course, hugely supported by the Micans, the alums.
Mangroves. Mangroves are tropical plants that can withstand tidal inundation, salt water, and wet soil. They serve as a bridge between land and sea, as well as between humans and nature. Mangroves are crucial for the stability of the coastal ecosystem and the reduction of erosion.
That's our job as the Mica. The entire admission machinery just tries to filter and bring out the best. We try and be the mangroves for Mica to ensure that just the best is gotten and the best is held on. In this machinery, we also know that there's a large role that the parents and the mentors have played, and this little short video for them.
Yeah. See how round this is? Now look. You see this one? See how square that is? Sharp edges. But this one, you see how round that is? Take a hold of that. What happens here in this water is amazing. As the rocks come down from the Gomo Glacier, they come and they come so fast. They begin like that one, square pieces of rock. And then as they flow, they hit the sides of the riverbanks. They hit other rocks. And slowly, slowly, as they come, they become rounded.
And I'm sure each one of you have seen how you've got polished and shaped by the different teachers and mentors, and this is equally true for all of us because we learn a whole lot through the admission process. You're here, right there. And so the countdown starts. Right today onwards, you will find yourself in the company of journalists, lawyers, dentists. There are some students with a BA degree. We also have MBBS students. We have students coming from media and communication. We have students from design, and a whole lot of them. I'm not sharing numbers because this is dynamic. Our batch is still moving. The dean mentioned 196 PGP right now. You will eventually have a batch of 2 or 4 who will be with you. All of these come shaping the Mica class very, very differently. So at that note, I'd love to see all of you have a very, very good time. On behalf of the entire admission committee, I sign off with a very special thanks to the registrar, the dean, the estate department, the accounts department, the IT department, because they played a very crucial role in helping us run through this. That's to all of you.
You are just too young to find the senses in your life, looking for something else, like the dream that you have. Filled your life with someone else, like teardrops in your eyes. Who does care what you are, while the river flows in you? You are not a fool, no, you are beautiful one. You are like the sun, 'cause this river flows in you. You are not the no one, you just look for more here. Who does care because you are the one with it inside? You are not the fool, no, you're a beautiful one. You are like the sun, 'cause this river flows in you. You are not the no one, you just look for more here. Who does care because you are the one with it inside?
So there's a lot more to happen. Just witness the experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Tiwari. And as Professor Tiwari also mentioned, that you're starting here, your journey starts today, just now, right here, at this very moment. And before I invite the next, I just thought I'll tell you one more of my gyan. And like in the Family Man, मैंने भी ये Google से ही ढूंढ के लिया था कि your present circumstances don't determine where you go, they merely determine where you start. And you are starting today, from here at Mica, taken from Family Man, okay, from Google, of course. So now I invite the orientation chats, Professor Shubhra Gaur and Professor Mini Mathur to talk to you about what's in store for the next 2 weeks.
So good evening, all of you. I think after admissions, it's orientation, and then we move on to the PGP term. So good evening and a warm welcome to Mica. It's indeed a great pleasure for both of us to be standing here and welcoming you on behalf of the orientation committee and the Mica community. So from tomorrow onwards, we are starting off an integrated, or as we call it, a common orientation program, which would include sessions for PGP, FPM, and CCC. So as we say, and because we have Mica alums sitting here, at Mica, we don't teach, we facilitate learning. And that's wherein, so you just don't learn from the faculty, but you learn from the environment, you learn from your fellow Micans. And if you are passionate enough, you'll find multitude of opportunities to discover your interest, to discover your passion, pursue your passions, and also benefit from the extracurricular activities and a horde of activities you will come to know about in few days' time. So keeping this in mind, we have designed an orientation program which includes, which is like diverse in terms of culture, courses, and areas. And I'll just give a brief in terms of how did we plan this orientation program. So we had multitude of meetings with the orientation committee, which includes chairs from the FPM and CCC programs. We looked at last year's sessions, we looked at the relevance of these sessions, we deleted, in fact, some of the sessions, we modified some of those sessions, and also we added some of those sessions to kind of be more contemporary, be more relevant in terms of curriculum. So we also had meetings with MCSA, which is Mica Council for Student Affairs. We had meetings with last few years batches to understand what should go into the orientation program. We also had some inputs from the industry to understand what is contemporary, what is very essential to kind of give it in the beginning. So that's wherein, if you look at the orientation 2023, it's about 25 to 30% absolutely new content or methodology as compared to last year. So to conclude, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to each and every one of you who have cleared multiple stages and have been able to make it to Mica. And as they say, while learning is a lifelong journey, but for many of you, it would probably be the conclusion of a formal education. And that's wherein we request you to make the most of these 2 years that you would have at Mica. And just kind of last thought, and a lot of my colleagues would agree, that the vibrancy that we are seeing today, these red bricks were very dull. So you guys put in life in these red bricks. So welcome to Mica. And I now call Professor Shubhra Gaur to talk more details about the orientation program that would start from tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. A very warm evening, very warm welcome to one and all. We have, in fact, it's a joy and celebration of multiple people's contribution in everyone's life, including ours on the other side of it. And here we have, I would like to first begin with remembering Mr. Krishnamurthy, the founder of the Institute. Yes, the next slide, please. The founder of this institute, who was a visionary and dreamt that everyone who joined Mica in whatever capacity, their dreams came true. And they contributed simultaneously to the world at large, not just the industry, but the world at large. And moving forward, I want to show you the destination in the coming 2 years. So only a few steps from here, those are the convocation lawns. So depending on when you convocate, 1, 2, or 3 or 4 years, that is the destination, immediate destination. And I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of learning. Moving on, I want to talk about the team, the people who put this all together. So the two of us, along with our very esteemed committee members, Professor Bani, and maybe just request all the professors who are here to wave at everyone. Professor Bani, Professor Niyati Bhanja, Professor Ruchi Tiwari, Professor Sunita Amal, Professor Santosh Patra, and Professor R.M. Simha. So a big round of applause should continue for the next members of our team, which is Nilotama, Rajaram, and Neha. So the three of them, the pictures are here. Nilotama, I'll request you to wave at everyone. A lot of nights and days have gone into this, and I'm emphasizing on the nights because that's going to be your life too. So we are all in the same boat. And I would like to move away from the metaphor of aircraft and say we are all in the same boat. And we are in waters. Well, very, very quickly, I will take you through the outcome of all this. 2 weeks, actually it's a power-packed 2 weeks. 12 days, you will get 2 Sundays, but those Sundays will not appear like Sundays to you. They'll be so full of everything. And we already had videos of music yesterday night in the hostel areas. And yes, I agree completely with Professor Ruchi when she says, life has come back to these bricks. So yes, very, in short, the idea as we induct you into the Mica family, and that includes the parents and family members of Micans who are going to spend time here. The focus is on building the introductory part of both curricular and extracurricular activities at Mica. And the next one, please. There are interactive sessions, there are workshops, and there are panels from industry. And the model is very simple. And I want to remind you, each student who has joined, at the end of it, we take a test. So please remember what we are talking about just now. It's a simple acronym, 7 C's and 1 W. And the W begins right here, wellness. Very important for each one of us, not just you. Wellness and contemporary world, including ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, etc. Core Mica values, curriculum, and then the 3 C's which are integral anyway, the campus, city, and community. You're already being introduced to one set of community members now, and gradually more and more will come very soon. And then the career part for which almost everyone is focused, and we will see that during the day. I will elaborate on each one of these. So the first one I will do is on contemporary world. And as Professor Mehta and Professor Hegde also mentioned about artificial intelligence, one of the things that we will bring to you is dealing with artificial intelligence to begin with as a student. That big monster or whatever else you may want to give a metaphor of. And then management of creative businesses and management expectations from management graduates, whether they are CCC, FPM, or PGP batches. There are certain core Mica values, which as you will discover very soon, and this is especially to the parents because they have sent you with certain values already, and we strengthen those values, but these values are extremely important and non-negotiable. So some of these, you have heard about creativity and innovation. Creativity, innovation is in the DNA of Micans, and we strengthen each one. Not only we select or basis that, but we also strengthen it throughout the 1, 2, or 3 years, 4 years. But equality, diversity, respect for dignity. All these things are equally important, and we do it in multiple ways, but do remember that there are core Mica values, which are, again, universal human values are so much integrated. Respect for each other, for example, and I'm sure all of us come with that, but you will be surprised to say that we see that we have very interesting sessions on as you can see over here, creativity and innovation driving business innovation and diversity and identity. The next one, please. Gender equality and anti-sexual harassment committee. Equality is not just about equitable treatments, etc. It's also about no harassment. And this we take very seriously, and there are committees around it, which the mention of it will come to you in mails and on our website, etc. And the dry wet state part, but also the drugs part, anti-drugs part. So these sessions, and then of course the curriculum is not devoid of the pedagogy part. So we do not only the content as to what we'll cover, we do also impart the skill basis, for example, and there is a Center for Learning and Innovative Pedagogy, which you will be hearing more about, which has introduced LinkedIn Learning Platform. So we will talk about that and induct you into it. Innovations in evaluations. There are two evaluation assessment innovations that we have made just last year. And these will be extremely useful for you as you prepare yourself for industry. Connect the dots, as C dot over there is connect the dots. So there's so much that each student learns, but are they able to connect those dots? Are they able to apply those to the problems that appear in the industry or wherever they join? And then MyCam, which is Mica Comprehensive Assessment Mapping, because each one of us is also unique in certain ways. So there's a mapping by which your strengths and your areas of interest get identified formally. And there is a very interesting audio novel workshop. Besides, the other three are more part of pedagogy, case analysis, Excel sheet, and PowerPoint. Now, many of you must be wondering, what is there in PowerPoint? In fact, we also have heard that it is, PowerPoint actually is death of, any oration or anything. But how to make those PowerPoints very interesting and brief is what is going to be talked about. And I'm extremely, extremely grateful to Micans for that. And one is right here, who will shortly address you. But a lot of these will be coming from alumni. The Excel sheet workshop and the PowerPoint workshop will be coming to you from those alumni. Talking about the 7th C, the career, there will be industry panels, and you will see that a lot of people from senior people from industry would be coming and addressing you on two very important topics for each one of you. One is about managing businesses creatively. In fact, everywhere we go, it's not we say it that innovation is important. Everywhere we go, we are told that what we need is innovation. What we need is innovation to survive, etc. So this one, but managing businesses, and the second one directly applicable to you, which is about what is expected by the industry and what industry expectations are from you. So those will be talked about, and Professor Bhaskar Das will be leading this, and there are several alumni there too. And then there are alumni, 5 alumni from different batches, from different specializations, from the likes of Google, Amazon, Fractal, Titan, and also entrepreneurs, because you will realize very soon that entrepreneurship is something which we also have core courses in, and we have a founder and CEO there as well, addressing you on their personal journeys and learnings thereof for you to take off. Now, we also, finally we come to the W, which is beginning with the Zumba over there, holistic health, which is both physical as well as mental health, by our in-house doctor and counselor. And then we have mindfulness. I'll talk briefly about mindfulness. It was, so the sessions we bring here are from our first batch, Mican, and Basant would know about him. He's Shaiju, and he's been doing this for corporates. He spent sufficient time in the industry, but then full-time took this as a profession, and he's now taking workshops on mindfulness and yoga in corporates like the leading four, if you want to call, or any of those. Yoga, and last one is another. Now, all this is pretty much focusing on the self, but the last one is about human connect. And you will, of course, interact with your peers. But another informal interaction we provide is with the faculty. Because the faculty over here are also people outside. They're not just academics who pursue their professions. They also are person in their own right. So we have informal student-faculty connect. And so really, I'm sure we all appreciate that, time and distance are just, words. Because just like you will take only a few minutes to walk up to the convocation lawns, but it'll take you 2 years to actually walk the convocation. In the same way, you're not yet into the Mani Iyer Auditorium, which is a unique icon for Micans. And most of the activities for your orientation, common activities will happen here, but the others will happen in the seminar halls and the classrooms. So here's the colorful Mani Iyer Auditorium for the parents and family members. Your wards will be sitting there very soon, in less than 16, 20 hours from now. And yes, lastly, I want to leave you with a thought. It's right there at the bottom. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And please replace the teacher with parents, with nature, with any stranger or anybody. Only when we are ready do we get those realizations and experiences come alive. And I want you to think about this, because this doesn't have only one meaning. This has several meanings. And there is a, second line to it also, which I haven't written over there, which is when the student is really ready, then the teacher disappears. So I want you, we would like to leave you with this thought, both Professor Mini and I, that it's very important to be ready for learnings. No matter how learned or experienced the faculty or the person from the industry is, unless and until you're ready, the learning doesn't happen. So with that, the very best to each one of you, and once again, congratulations. And a big round of applause to everyone who's made it this far. Let the energy keep going, because it has become suddenly a little philosophical. So all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Gaur and Professor Mini Mathur. Dr. Mehta, during his speech, had mentioned about the Nai Fasal. He talked to you and referred to you as the new Fasal. Generally, Basant is generally we have it before summer. But as the summer is ending, we are actually experiencing Basant today. So, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to our own Mican, Mr. BASANT RATHORE. In fact, BASANT may not remember, but I was also in Mudra, so with you. For 6 years when he was there, I used to see him then, thin, lean chap, very serious looking. He's still very much there. He's not even put on much weight. Generally people to be so, prosperous put on weight, but you're still looking as lean as you were on, So I've run into you many times, but I never thought one day would come where you would be the chief guest at Mica and I will be talking to you here. But before that, I would request Dr. Shaindraj Mehta, our President and Director, to give a brief introduction of Mr. BASANT RATHORE. Sir.
Actually, before I introduce our chief guest for today, there is an announcement and a transition that I'd like to announce. And may I request the two people here to please come on stage, Professor Rajneesh Krishna and Professor Shubhra Gaur. If you can join me here on stage, please. So the registrar's job is one of the most important pillars at Mica. They are, as it were, the keepers of records and the keepers of values and a keeper of many other things. For many years now, we've had a very distinguished professor who has, in a very distinguished fashion, carried out his duties in that office. That is Professor Rajneesh Krishna. But now, because of personal exigencies, he will be stepping down. And in just a minute, I'll ask him to come and just speak very briefly about what he has accomplished in just a few minutes. And the person who will be taking over from him as registrar will be Professor Shubhra Gaur. And a big hand for both of them, for Professor Krishna and for doing such a wonderful job, and for Professor Gaur, who will no doubt pick up from where he is leaving today and take it to even greater heights. Both Professor Krishna and Professor Gaur have been with us for 20 years each. They are, in their own ways, pillars of Mica, much loved by students, much loved by their colleagues, much loved by people outside of Mica, because they've taught so many of them. So I will not say very much more, except to say that both of them are very distinguished, and the baton is going from one distinguished hand to another. I'll just ask them to just speak a few words, each of them, Rajneesh and then Shubhra, and then I will introduce our chief guest. So let me step aside for a minute, and the floor is yours, Rajneesh.
When I took over as registrar almost 3 years back, the most important challenge was to convert the image or transform the image of registrar, a frowning registrar to a smiling registrar. Our registrar, who is associate dean also, professor also, and most of all, who cracks PJ. So, a smiling registrar, but at the same time, transform the Mica from inside. Keep the values of Mica intact, add to it, and make it relevant for the new world. We have done a lot. There were multiple challenges. For the first time, we participated in an NIRF ranking, and we got out with a fantastic rank, which has been further improved in this year's ranking. We participated and successfully scored a very high mark of 714 in NBA accreditation, which gives us quite a lot of autonomy. We participated and we have successfully crossed the first step of our international accreditation, that is AACSB. There have been change in the structure has been streamlined. So there were multiple challenges, but the most important challenge was that I took the registrarship and the COVID struck and the campus was closed. So transferring the whole program from offline to online and then bringing it from online to offline, that was a major challenge. Unfortunately, there has been some personal situations. My wife is not well, and it is requiring a huge amount of time. So I requested Professor Mehta and Dean that I am unable to wear 3 caps anymore. Just remove 1 cap. And they kindly agreed. Thanks a lot. And everybody, all my colleagues who are here, you have been fantastic. You came and you cooperated, you gave everything whenever we wanted, whenever the situation wanted. You have been fabulous. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Professor Mehta. Thank you, Professor Krishna. I think with the support of everyone here, I have no doubt that Mica will reach another, I have no doubt at all that Mica will reach another level, and we will do great things in future, things which Professor Krishna and, in this journey of Mica, so many people have started. There's only one place where I will fall short, and which is the PJs of Professor Krishna. So I have a tall order to actually transform myself before I transform anything else. But don't worry, I'm not going to transform myself in that direction. And I seek everyone's support in this. Thank you so much for this faith, everyone, and wish us all the good luck. All of us, it's a team. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You know, Shubhra also talked about before I introduce the chief guest, let me just tell you a little story about the real transformation that a teacher can effect. I think I was talking to our chief guest and my colleagues in my office, and I mentioned that I just came back from Rajgir, from Nalanda. I mean, there was a G20 event, and I was talking about the university. What is interesting is that in that region, there was a maid's son who, when he found the right teacher, became one of the greatest emperors the world had ever known. And I'm thinking of Chandragupta Maurya and Kautilya. A man who goes literally from being nobody to being the greatest emperor the world had seen up to that point. Because if you look at the expanse of his life and the expanse of his territory, it was bigger than anything that had been seen until then. And so a teacher is always on the lookout for good students. Always. I know I am. And the greatest joy of my life over the last 30 plus years has been the students who stayed in touch. And I've seen their evolution. And truly it is said, there are only two classes of individuals in the world who are not jealous of your success. Your parents and your teachers. They want you to be more successful than they are. The only two classes of individuals. बाकी सब में कहीं ना कहीं स्वार्थ या ईर्ष्या आ जाती है. But on that note, I want to introduce one of our own who has, I'm sure, encountered many fine teachers at Mica. He's the Senior Vice President of Strategy and Business Development and Brand at Jagran Prakashan, one of the great media companies of our time, responsible for driving large-scale management programs, strategic brand building roadmap for print and digital brands, laying out the marketing framework for digital assets and products, leveraging group synergies, and building Jagran into one of the most awarded and recognized brands of our time. In fact, he tells me he's just come back from the global awards in Florida, where Jagran got about 12 awards, more than anybody else. So a big hand for Mr. BASANT Rathore. He was earlier at Ogilvy, Mudra, Mindshare, Madison, working for companies such as Ponds, Cadbury's, Pepsi, Hyundai, Samsung, McDonald's, Dabur, and Reliance. He's taught in many fine institutions, including at Mica. He's a graduate, of course, of Mica, but also of Sri Ram College, and also the recipient of the Distinguished Alumnus Award of Mica. So we could not have a better person to address us. Mr. Rathore, the floor is yours. A big hand for one of our own, for Mr. Rathore.
I brought a little note with me so that I don't forget some of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. But first of all, do you guys really believe you are here? All you Micans, are you here? Pinch yourself hard. You actually made it. A huge cheer for yourselves, man. You are here. It takes quite a bit. 200 from 9,000. Guys, you've accomplished something. And I always feel introductions, Professor Mehta just introduced, and introductions are a little bit double-edged swords. You know why? When they begin, you feel nice. But after a little while, you get a little bit jittery because they get a little bit dangerous. Dangerous because it raises audience expectations. I hope all your expectations are tempered enough by now. You're suitably tired and I can pass off with anything. But anyways, members of the staff, Professor Mehta, all you students and guardians and parents who have made it this to the August evening, welcome to all of you. And it's an absolute honor and a pleasure to be a part of this evening. I passed out of Mica 27 years ago. And believe you me, nothing has changed. Whenever I come back to Mica, it feels like homecoming. In my day-to-day life, whenever I encounter a Mican, there's a strange bond. There's a strange sense of warmth and camaraderie. There's a sense that this is one of our own. It almost borders on being biased toward that person. Although I've not met thousands of Micans, but there's that connection. And that's the magic of Mica. It endures. And it's endured all these years. Long ago, in 1994, I almost sound prehistoric, and almost like a dinosaur. But to hell with that, who cares? Even after millions of years, dinosaurs are celebrated. We still talk about them. And after millions of years, we still make movies about them. So, it's good to be a dinosaur. So, I was sitting here in one of the first few sessions long ago in 1994. And I was a shy guy who would sit somewhere in the corner trying to be invisible right at the corner so that nobody notices me. And we would notice all these industry stalwarts. They would come in the Money Air auditorium. They would all come and talk. And we looked at them with awe and were wonderstruck. And always thought, secretly there was a little desire somewhere that one day maybe I'll make it to that podium. So, today's my chance. It's taken a while, but it has materialized. I've been very fortunate to have been associated with Mica more than the 2 years that I vouched for. My initial career was spent in Mudra, Ahmedabad, and I used to, after office, I would come here to take classes for the media planning batches, for the specialization batches, and I've held classes till as late as till 11 p.m., 11:30 at night. And each time I would come back, I'd feel I'm connected to my roots. That's what Mica does to you. So when you go out and when you come back, that's what Mica leaves you behind with. Each time I walk into the Mica classroom or any classroom for that matter now, I feel like I'm a student all over again. I've studied at some of the finest schools and colleges across India. But there is something magical about Mica. I wear my Mica lineage as a badge of pride. What I've learned here have been lessons for life. I have been transformed. I've been transformed to say. I recall a time at Mica when I was supposed to make a presentation at a group. Sweaty palms, dry throat. There were just 40 students at that time, but yet I was so nervous. But look at what Mica has done. They relentlessly went after me. Teacher after teacher said, no, you come and talk, you come and talk. And over a period of time, they really worked on each of us and polished each of us to make us what we are. So surrender yourselves completely. Shed away all your shyness. Shed away all your inhibitions. And I'm talking from experience. Because I was the shyest guy in the class. I would hide the furthest corner, try to be the most invisible person. But no, there was no hiding. So what does Mica actually give you? It just doesn't give you a degree or a diploma or a program or a career. It gives you a lot more. When I today talk of a Mican, or when anybody talks of a Mican in a room, that room has energy. That room has some spunk. That room has it has a bright spark. In that room, you can expect some crazy discussions, some outlandish solutions. That's what Mica is. Mica is about energy. It vibrates on a very, very different level. That's what a Mican is. I recall a discussion with one of a large advertiser at Reckitt's one day, and he said, "It's very boring, the marketing that we have here. What should we do?" I said, "Put in a bunch of Micans and you'll see the change." A year later, he came back and said, "I actually did that. And I'm far more excited now coming back to office every day." So that's what really Mica does. However, in our times, we had absolutely no idea. When we walked into this campus in 1994, we were the first batch. There were just 42 of us here. And we had absolutely no idea what to expect. Some industry gurus and pandits told us that time that the communication era is upon us. The next 2 decades will belong to the communications field. So all of us chucked whatever we were doing and headed off to Mica. I, for example, was staying in a very obscure little town near Pakistan border called Badmer. And I was preparing for my civil services exams. When the Mica offer letter came, I threw away my books and I said, "I'm going." My parents had no clue what I was going to be doing. But ever since I've taken that decision, no day has been dull. So I think you guys have made a huge choice, and you guys made a hugely correct choice. So I think it's going to be a magical journey. It's going to be a life-altering journey, and it's going to change you as people. That's what Mica really does. So there were these 42 of us who lit the first fires at Mica. And we set in motion in what is now called the Mica culture. The late Professor Nirmal Goswami, he had dubbed that culture as "the language begins here." And it indeed did begin. We all came from very diverse backgrounds, different cultures, different kinds of education backgrounds. And we created a very unique culture which over a period of time came to be known as the Mica culture. So what are the hallmarks of this Mica culture? To me, while there are lots of things, but the 4 big standouts as part of this culture was a singular zeal to strive for excellence. The second big standout value, which actually I live every day, is to be ethical and humane. Nobody would talk about this, but Mica does. Third is to enjoy the journey. Goals, destinations, ambitions are all good, but enjoy the journey, because a major part is going to be spent traversing the journey. And fourth and most important, create a point of view, have a point of view, and please make it known. This was more than evident in the classrooms, with all kinds of questions floating left, right, center, and some of the repartees and the questions I remember till date. So they are the 4 big culture points that I talk about as a Mica culture. Let me come to the first one, talking about excellence. Before entering Mica, we were all achievers in some field or the other. Okay, some of us were academically bright, some of us were talented sports people, somebody is doing very well in some career option they had chosen earlier. And our ability, our talent, and possibly our luck opened the doors of Mica for us. Once we got inside, we figured out that everybody was just as lucky as us, or just as talented as us, if not more. So obviously, to survive in the middle of all of this and to succeed in the middle of all of this needed more than luck, more than a wish and a prayer. What we needed was a mindset to succeed, a great work ethic, and a huge sense of discipline. These are the 3 things that Mica taught us in the very first term. I recall I was on the interview panel. Professor Tiwari was explaining how rigorous the panel was in terms of this. I was part of one of the Delhi panels, and the only thing that we were looking at was the candidate with the right attitude. I hope some of you from my panel made it here. If you have made it, congratulations. But the point is, 200 of you have made it here. What you have now, the doors of Mica have opened for you. And what matters now more than anything else is what you do with this opportunity that you've got. And remember, when you walk out of this place, walk out with this mindset to succeed, walk out with a great work ethic, and walk out with a sense of discipline. Because these are attitude defining things. And it is your attitude that's going to get you places. It is your attitude that's going to define you. It's your attitude that's going to describe your approach to your work. And you will always get hired for attitude and nothing else. So just focus consciously on all of this. Muhammad Ali once famously said, the will to succeed must be stronger than the skill. So always bear that in mind. If you're really determined about something, you really have to go after it. Having said that, a lot of people talk about success. And they measure success often in monetary terms, or sometimes in terms of a designation, or in terms of some sort of recognition they get. But in this mad quest for perfection, don't let your ambition become a double-edged sword. Let it not blur the line between success and obsession. It's very, very important. Let not the rat race push you to the brink. So much so that the very ambition that drives you starts choking you. Because when it does that, you become desperate and you become obsessed to achieve that goal at any cost. And when you reach that state, you think of shortcuts. You think of shortcuts and you start compromising on personal ethics. In fact, before becoming great marketeers or great researchers or great entrepreneurs or whatever you want to become a great human being. Empathy and kindness are a very rare commodity in the corporate world of today. If you find one, grab it with both hands. I tell my team all the time that you can be a 7 on 10 on marketing, but as a human being, you've got to be 10 on 10. As a leader, if today I have to drive teams, I can get 100% from my teams through sheer authority. But what if I want 200% from my team? Before becoming a great leader, I have to be a great human being. Only then people will lay down their lives for you. That's the trait that you must develop. And that cannot come through anything else. It's your attitude and it's your commitment to human empathy. Always bear that in mind. So have an ambition and a goal, but please enjoy the journey. Once you reach the goal, the next milestone will beckon you. There's never a mountain top that you will reach there and start celebrating. So enjoy the journey, and that is so much more important. Enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, enjoy the hard work, enjoy everything that you go across. And when you talk of a journey, what happens during a journey? Sometimes the terrain is bad. There are potholes on the road, several roadblocks, speed breakers, drunk drivers, and sometimes you'll also have a flat tire. Learn to accept all of these as part of your journey. Learn to accept failure. Because the guy who's not failed does not know how to handle it when he actually fails. It's very, very important to handle failure. Very important to handle rejection. It will build you strong from within. It gives you resilience. It's very, very important. You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a startup founder, you want to be a strategist, a marketer, what have you. You must have internal resilience. You must keep trying and never give up. Because adversity will always hit. And you must know how to handle it. And the last big lesson that I'm going to leave you behind is about speaking your mind. As I said, if you have an opinion, first cultivate an opinion, please. And if you have one, please make it known. In corporate world of today, It's very easy to please people by telling them what they like to listen. It's very easy. Today I can talk to my boss and tell him exactly what he likes to listen to. But then, are you doing justice to yourself? Will you be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is what I did today? Feel free to speak your mind. It takes a little extra courage to actually speak your mind and do the thing. I do it in my professional life all the time. As a strategic planner, I always will give the advice and which I think is the right thing to do. But at the back of my mind, I also am prepared to accept the fact that this piece of advice, which however sound it might be, might not be taken. Because tough decisions, as they say, are really tough to take. Also, decision making in corporate world is not always very easy. It's kind of complex. It's not linear and logical always. It will always depend upon the stature and the egos of the people sitting across the table. So when you talk with a mind which is free of fear. Make the suggestion that's the right thing to do. Whether it is followed or not, you do your job and give the best piece of advice that you can. Do justice to your talent. Do justice to yourself as a professional. And don't hold yourself back. These are some simple learnings that I've lived by. Even today when I work, I try to make my today better than yesterday. When I walk into office, I say, today my day has to be better. Today can I enrich somebody? Today can I do something extra for somebody? And always think what you can do for the organization rather than what the organization can do for you. Stick around, do your job, do it diligently. Put in the hard work. Put pen to paper, very important. It's easy to get swayed by chat GPTs and everything else in the world. Do a simple thing. Even when I write a presentation today, I'm so obsessed with what I write that I'll ensure that this presentation is the best ever that I've written in my life. And when I take the next presentation, it's the bigger challenge for me. That this one has to be better than the previous one. Challenge yourself every day. That's how you will grow. Because the day you cease to challenge yourself, that's the day you will cease to grow. So these are the small things that I've learnt at Mica. Whatever I owe in my professional journey, it's all thanks to Mica. So as all of you begin a magical new chapter in your lives, make the best of this opportunity. These 2 years can change your life like you never dreamt of. Grab this opportunity and make the most of it. Welcome aboard and to the Mican Club. Thank you again. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Setu, wherever you are, please. So the weather actually changed for me, right? So the weather actually changed for me.
It really felt as if BASANT has actually come, the BASANT season. So a big round of applause again, because the PGP 200 plus the CCC and FPM pretty quiet there. So please give a big shout out. You know, you guys, I know we hear you always. Yeah, that's it. We want you to really, because you have become Micans today. And who better than a person who's been through Mica, a Mican, true blue Mican, to talk to you and give you all the gyan actually of Mica, than a Mican himself. So as we are nearing the end, I can't leave you just like that. I know you all filled fact sheets, because I know all of you, one of your things when you get admitted, you fill a fact sheet. And I have seen all your fact sheets, and there's a column there of nationality where most of you write Indian. Of course, most of you are from India. आज के बाद उसके पास एक दूसरा एक कॉलम बना दो और उसमें बोल्ड लेटर्स में लिख दो माइकन. And now I would request Professor Rajneesh Krishna, Associate Dean and Registrar, you're still Registrar, yeah, so Registrar and Associate Dean Rajneesh Krishna to please come here and give a vote of thanks in his own inimitable style, sir.
First of all, let me welcome you. You have achieved a major milestone here. Being a Mican is not an easy thing. You are taking a first step. And what you have to do to become a fully fledged Mican has been brought out very nicely by Mr. Basant. Actually, when I have been talking with different recruiters and different people, one of the recruiter told me that if I know and I want a man to go from point A to B very efficiently and effectively, there is vehicle available, there is road paved, and everything is there, but they need to save time, I will go and hire from IIM. But if I want that I am at a point A, but I am not sure whether from A I go to B or C or X or Y, Z, and there are no roads and there is no means of transportation, I will hire a Mican. This is the metaphor of Mica. Mica or a Mican will look for a structure, pattern in the vagueness. Where there is nothing, you will look. Mican is somebody who will connect the dots in the vagueness and see a path ahead. And that has been brought up by Basant, one of our own. Because he understands Mica and what are the Mican values. And Basant, when Professor Shailendra Mehta was talking about his career, and it is such a glorious career that I felt like saying, Sir, bas ant karo. So that is Basant. So thanks Basant for coming here and illuminating, enlightening us about what Mica is and inspiring our students for the path ahead. This Mica, as you see around us, you see lots of tree, but when we started, the tree was not like this. There were only a few trees, and this was full of dhool, mitti, and we have converted this into green paradise, and the credit goes to admin head and state head and his team, a team of very dedicated people. They have also facilitated your entry into Mica. They have facilitated your movement into the hostels from home to hostel. I will like to thank them. The group of students who are here, all of you, as Professor Tiwari has said, you are exceptional. You are not only intelligent. You are intelligent and creative. That our admission process has ensured. MyCat. I have just been to IIM Cal as a visiting faculty teaching consumer behavior, and I was surprised. There was horror when around 50% of my pages fell flat. They were not able to see the connections. And believe me, in my class, even if the pun is remote, each and every student get it. Although after getting it, they feel like banging their head on the wall, but that is okay, but they get it. And that shows with the essential difference between an IIM and a Mican. And the credit for this discernment, I think, goes to the admission committee. So thanks admission committee and admission chairs. for bringing these kind of a student with whom I can crack PGH. Next, this admission process has not been completed unless and until it was done with the help of almost all the faculty members and almost all the staff members. It is a humongous process. I thank also here in this conducting this process, IT played a very, very tremendous important role. I thank all the faculty members. I thank all the staff members for playing this role in bringing into my class students who can understand my PGH. I will also like to thank the people who work at the background, who do not come at the foreground, the people of the program office, led very ably by all the program chairs, PGP program chairs, FPM program chairs, and CCC program chairs. Thank you, sir, for providing this support to bring this bunch of fantastic, fabulous students to the campus. Before I go and thank the next, I will tell you a story of Gyan. There was this guru, he went for a long tapasya, and at the end of tapasya, the god came, and the god asked, Bolo kya chahiye? So he asked for all the knowledge in the world. The god said, Tathastu, and disappeared. And after the god has disappeared, every single student of that guru was looking at the guru, that what are the first words of wisdom? And his first word was, मुझे पैसा मांगना था. So, we have a finance department led a very, very able finance head who very delicately and very nicely asks for your fee, makes it sure that you have deposited and there is enough petrol in the tank of Mica to keep it running. His planning, his financial planning, his strategic financial planning is fabulous. I thank all the finance department employees. And last but not least, there are staff members of registrar team who contribute. And here, which includes people who are making it sure the accreditation happens, warden, who is most vivacious and supporting lady, which you will come across, with whom you can share your secrets. Even if his dil ke tukre हजार हुए, कोई यहाँ गिरा, कोई वहाँ गिरा वाला secret also, with her, and she will, and believe me, it will never go out from there. I thank all of the registrar office staff for supporting. At the end, I will like to support I will like to thank two individuals who are at the foundation stone. They are epitome of leadership, although servant leadership model. Whenever you go to them, they will say, yes, it is possible. Tell me how it will bring advantage to Mica, and if you prove it, they will support any activity from any student, from any faculty. They are the people who make it possible. I thank Professor Shailendra Raj Mehta and Professor Geeta Hegde, our Dean and President, for being such a support. And last, I thank all of you, my dear students, for coming and making a choice for coming and joining Mica. Believe me, Mica is a community. On the day of passing out, one of my favorite students came and said, Sir, do you know what I learned, what I found in Mica? I found in Mica myself. Mica is the place where you will find yourself. Mica, within the within the boundaries of discipline, give you freedom to experiment with yourself. Participate in different activities. See where you are competent. We see where you want to learn. Grow yourself, find yourself, and one day, like Basant, you will come back and you will be the real spring of this institution. Before I end, I want to thank all the parents here who are here. They are the people who have made you the budding leaders which you are, my dear students. They have sacrificed for you. They, they, have, they have gone hungry to put, not literally but metaphorically, to give you the resources, because I saw some of the students looking at with a lot of worry on their face. So no, but metaphorically, they have sacrificed a lot for you. I want to thank them, and I want to ask each of the students to stand up and clap for their parents, whether they are here or not. Thank you, madams and sir. Thank you, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, sir, and I have to thank you. So we have to thank Professor Krishna, and it's very difficult for us to follow him, at least for the PJs, but the way he has been handling, the balancing, the work-life balance, which I have seen in close quarters last couple of years, your name should not be RK or Har K, should be Jeet K. So I always felt, ये हार के क्या है RK? So he's not, वो जीत के अभी से उनका नाम ऐसा कर लेंगे, क्योंकि he keeps on cracking PJs of everybody, but खुद के लिए I thought I have to tell this to him. Okay, and we are still not done yet. He gave a word of thanks, but we have the Dean, Dr. Geeta Hegde, to just talk to you and introduce you to all the chairs and the leaders of Mica. So, ma'am, the floor is yours.
So thank you for this. And we have a very large, and eminent faculty here and the academic staff who supports. Can you put up the presentation, please? Okay. So I will be presenting you the academic fraternity here, but there's a huge battalion of the administrative folks who help us here with the with the activities in Mica, and I think that will be presented tomorrow by the registrar and his team. So quickly running through the presentation. So here we are. I won't take much time on this, and I think I'll skip it because we've spoken about how Mica stands apart. We have a very eminent governing council. Governing council is the chairperson of governing council is Mr. Tridip Shurud, who is a provost of CEPT University. Also, we have a lot of Micans here. As you can see, that is the beauty of Mica. The Mican alumni and the passion that you saw with which Mr. Rathore spoke today, Micans are there everywhere supporting us in the activities of the institution. So Anand Babli is a professor at Texas University. Aparna is a Mican who is the Chief Marketing Officer of Great Learning. Dr. Bhaskar Das is UNOMETA, Singapore. Ms. Ganga Ganapati again is a Mican. Kunal Jaswani, who is also a Mican, Ogilvy, Singapore. I also Santosh Desai, who's Managing Director of Future Brands India, and Sandeep Menon, also a classmate of Mr. Rathore, who is in the governing council. So, we, as you know, we have 3 programs, and also run online programs with some leading edtech companies. In fact, when we were recently there in some of the best universities in the world, in the US, they were talking about how the edtech companies are selling themselves to these universities in the US, saying that we are also partnered with Mica. So that's where you are, and that is the the institution that you are here today, which is respected and acclaimed across the world. So the ecosystem, academic ecosystem, if you can see, is also ably supported, and we discuss with the student community, the management council, which also helps us in activities and here in Mica. The student councils, you also have placement facilities which are supported by the students. In the center are the faculty and the Mican academic team, and you also have other academic communities and committees that help excel, and also a few centers of excellence. I will touch upon the major committees and the centers here through my presentation. As you can see, our leadership, President Mehta, who has taken Mica to a different level and also leads from the front. That's me. Ably and deftly handled, the office is handled by Ms. Pooja Sharma. Pooja and Sukriti Phatak, if you're here, please stand up. Pooja and Sukriti? Okay, they I guess are managing the office back, in the office. So the Mican academic team, the postgraduate program, the PGP program, as you already know, is PGDM-C and PGDM. The co-chairs and the program, the PGP chairs are Professor Mini Mathur and Professor Suresh Melodia. Can you please stand up? Mini is someone whom you already met. Mini and Professor Suresh Melodia, are great academicians. Mini is also a passionate gardener. She loves gardening, and she has developed a beautiful terrace garden in her place. So if you want to see, beauty and nature in a terrace garden, you can visit Mini. Professor Suresh Malodia loves long drives, solo camping, and trekking as well. So that's both of them, and hardcore academicians. In the business, we have 4 areas, and in the business management area, chairing the business management area is Professor Niyati Banja. Professor Niyati Banja, please stand up. So Niyati Banja is deeply interested in Oriental philosophy, specific to the works of Sri Aurobindo. She considers music as integral part of life and is trained in Hindustan classical music. She also loves rearing plants. These are great academicians, but I'm just giving you the other side of them. You will learn, and you will understand. You will know about their academic prowess and also their subject matter expertise very soon. And in the area is Professor Saurabh Pandya, Professor Banikanta Mishra, Professor Rasanand Panda. So let me just see where I can find. Professor Banikanta Mishra, Professor Rasanand Panda, Professor Saurabh Pandya. Professor Saurabh Pandya also loves traveling, reading, and watching tennis. Professor Shailendra Mehta, Shubhra Gaur. Professor Shubhra Gaur, you've already seen and, of course, met her. Professor Shubhra Gaur, I believe, is a classical dancer, and let me see. Okay. And Dr. Shubhrat Sarangi. Shubhrat Sarangi, please, can you, yeah. Shubhrat has, won many debates, and when he was very early in his college, and He's also a passion. He also does tabla. He's learned tabla. So that's about Professor Shubhrat Sarangi. And Professor Sunita Ammal. I have a little bit of her as well here. Sunita, please. Yeah. Sunita has edited Odia poetry book written by Sri Panigrahi, her father-in-law. Okay, and she also chairs Mica's online program along with Professor Anita Basalingappa. And we have Professor Taral Patak. Taral is a passionate biker and loves riding and for long distances. He is also into gym, yoga, and planning volleyball. He chairs the admissions department along with Professor Ruchi Tiwari, which you already know. And we have Professor U.T. Rao. I think Professor U.T. Rao can introduce himself because he is an, yeah, can you just tell something about yourself? Yeah. Yeah, Mike, come over. Yeah, you know, he had this interesting write-up, which I don't have it here for whatever reasons, but I think you should talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, I don't know what I had written two things apart from all the work, academic work I do. My passion for cinema. I have produced one Gujarati film, and I've also produced one Odia film. Both of them are award-winning films, and I'm producing a Hindi film in the pipeline.
And about your
yeah, written. Yeah, and another thing I've written about is actually I'm a South Indian by birth, and I lived my life most of my life in Odisha. I'm born and brought up in Odisha, which is an eastern part of India, and I'm married to a North Indian from Haryana, and I live in the western part of India, which is Ahmedabad. So it makes me a complete Indian. Thank you.
So that's the business management area. A big round of applause to all our faculty members of business management area. So we also have in the business management area a research team. Do we have the research team here? If you can just stand up wherever you are. And okay, so there are the research team that ably supports the faculty. The RAs Aksha Dave, Parul Palod, Isa Hamid, Jyoti, Rajkumar, Rejaski Ghosh, Sushmita Upadhyay. Each of the area also has academic advisory committee. If you look at the distinguishable advisory committee of the management area, who are directors, practitioners, academicians, and from the well-known industries in the country. The next is the strategic marketing area. Strategic marketing area is, the chair of strategic marketing area is Professor Kallol Das. So I have something about him here. Again, Kallol is a very great researcher. He was something that we don't know. He was a serial entrepreneur for some years, and he loves innovating, and he does that all the time with his teaching and research. So, Professor Kallol Das. Can you just, okay. So in the strategic management faculty, we have Dr. Anita Basalingappa, Professor Ashutosh Das. Professor Ashutosh Das is a Mican himself. Professor Ashutosh Das, please. Yeah. Professor Ashutosh Dutt, sorry. Professor Ashutosh Dutt, he's not here. Professor Falguni Professor Falguni is social media influencer. Please stand up. She is also a dancer and a very well-known social media influencer. Is there anything else that you want to say? Yeah. So you will learn more about her as you interact with her. Dr. Mini Mathur, Professor Rajneesh Krishna, and as he says, his talent is to, he's a PJ king, is what he said. So, and we also have Dr. Shafali Gupta, who is also a dancer, and her commitment is towards her work, and also she spends her time in meditation. Shubhrat, Shubhrat is also part of the strategic marketing area. Professor Suresh Malodia, and also Professor Varsha Jain. Strategic marketing area also has adjunct faculty, Professor Chandri Mitra, and also Dr. L.K. Vaswani. The research and postdoctoral fellow at Strategic Marketing Department area is Ms. Prita Shah and Yogesh. Is Prita and Yogesh here? The strategic marketing, every area, as you know, has advisory committee, and here we have of the likes of the CEOs of various various companies such as Mudra, senior executives from Facebook, academicians from University of California, from Texas University, CEO of Eureka Forbes, and also brand consultant at Mumbai. So we take a lot of inputs from the advisory committee while we work on strengthening the academics. The communication area, the Professor Pooja Thomas, she again is a trained in Bharatanatyam for 8 years and is passionate about cinema, art, and books. So Professor Pooja Thomas, who's the chair of communication area. We have some real rock stars here, not only in terms of teaching and academia, but also in terms of music. Harmony here is, she makes music with 2 bands here in Ahmedabad, Purple Flower and Time Wise. Her father is also a drummer. She is passionate about undoing the nature, culture, binary, which informs how we engage with the world. So that's Professor Harmony for you. Dr. Manisha Shellet. Professor Manisha. Okay, she received the Soviet Land Nehru Award for a painting when she was just 10 years old. So you have a painter as well. Yeah, she's passionate about nature, and she is also the chair of the Center for Development Management and Communication at Mica. Professor Ruchi Tiwari, as you have already met, she paints, she also dances Kathak, and she is a bike rider. So Professor Ruchi Tiwari. And she's multi-talented. She also has taken pottery classes and many other. And I see her carrying her yoga mat wherever she goes. So she practices yoga almost every day. So, and yeah, great. So that's Professor Ruchi Tiwari for you. The adjunct faculty in the communication area are Bikram Bindra and Vivek Pradeep Rana. Also have a research team here. The communication area's academic advisory committee is again both faculty from the leading institutions, academicians, and practitioners. The digital platform and strategies area. Professor Mayank Kumar, who is now Mayank Kumar, who is just back from Norway. I don't think he's here. Ashutosh Dutt also supports Mayank Kumar, Professor Rajneesh Krishna, and Professor Viral Nagori. Professor Viral Nagori. So he likes to write short stories in Gujarati, and he also has won prizes for the same. He's passionate about cricket analysis, watching wild animals in their natural habitat, and capturing photography of sunset and sunrise. So that's a little more about Professor Viral. So the adjunct faculty are again, some of them are Micans here. Aditya, Amit, Kaustubh, and Siddharth Deshmukh. Here again, we have research associates and teaching associate, postdoctoral team who supports the team in their, in their research activities. The digital platform and strategies area also has an academic the advisory committee team are again Professor Jaideep Prabhu, Professor and Director, Indian Global Business at University of Cambridge. Jaya Deshmukh, who is an Executive Vice President, Strategy and Transformation, Coal Technology Services. Paurav Shukla, Professor and HOD, Digital and Data from the University of Southampton, USA. The media and entertainment management area is ably handled by Dr. Santosh Patra. Dr. Santosh Patra again is a movie buff and and great at his subject matter again. So the adjunct faculty, Professor Darshan Trivedi, Dr. Darshan Trivedi is here, and Professor Pratibha Vinayak. The research team, Abhishek, Mansi, and Manish. The academic advisory committee, you have industry folks from Google, Hangama Digital, Viacom, Netflix, and many other company institutions and leading academic institutions as well. We also have the fellow program, as you know. The program co-chairs are Professor Shafali Gupta and Professor Banikanta Mishra. You already met them. We have the adjunct faculty, Dr. Keval Kumar, in the FPM area, and also the team consisting of the FPM executive, who is Mas Syed. In the CCC team, Mr. R.M. Sima. So I remember him saying that he cries when he watches movies. A very passionate person, apart from his other talent as well. So please stand up. And Professor Falguni Oza. The advisor, Suraja Kishore. The team, Vijay Christian and Murtaza Gandhi. We also have the online program, which is run by Professor Anita Basalingappa, Professor Sunita Mal, and Vijay. So the Mica, the Leadership and Management Development Program, which does a lot of consultancy and MDP programs for the industry, is ably led and co-chaired by Dr. Shubhrat and Professor Osa. At Mica, you will also be going through immersions, various immersions through the academics. So the immersions and innovation secretariat is Professor Shubhra, chaired by Professor Shubhra Gaur, and Julie is the coordinator. The different Mica immersions are, once again, the chair, Professor Rasanand Panda, and I just found out what he had also said about himself. So he says his 4 Ps are, Professor Rasanand Panda, once again, please stand up. So his 4 Ps are, I'm reading in an order which I like, Pyar, Padai, Paisa, and politics. So he says, the order keeps changing, but yeah, that's Professor Panda for you. We also have a faculty, adjunct faculty advisor, K.V. Ramani, and supporting them is Kunal Pandya. The rural immersion, which you have to compulsorily undergo, is co-chaired by Dr. Arvind Sinha, Dr. Kalol Das, Dr. L.K. Vaswani, and supported by Nilotama Parmar. The entrepreneurship immersion is run by, the co-chairs are Professor Viral Nagori, Professor U.T. Rao, Dhruv, and Nilotama. International immersion is co-chaired by Professor Shubhra Gaur, Professor Suresh Malodia, and Mr. Jairaj Nair. So that's about, though we have a lot of committees, faculty committee as well, but so you've actually got introduced to the major activities that we do, academic activities that we do, and also the areas at Mica. So please connect with them, the faculty, and they will be always happy to support and help you wherever and whenever you need. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. I know you're all very hungry, but you had a lot of gyan here, a lot of food for thought. So now we can move to dinner, and I think parents are there, a lot of parents here. Let me tell all the parents who are here that we have a great array of dishes here for dinner. I'm told you have pav bhaji, you also have ice gola here because this is summer, and a lot of other things also. And parents here, please be rest assured your wards are going to be very well looked after. At least even as far as the food is concerned, they have unlimited lunch, unlimited breakfast, unlimited evening tiffin, and unlimited dinner. But that's not enough for them. So we have a chota, which is 24 hours, and we also have a my cafe. So sometimes I'm wondering that, itna unlimited khai, fir bhi they are mostly found in chota. So parents, just go back, be rest assured for next 2 years. I think your children also will tell पापा और मम्मी प्लीज़ छोड़ दो, माइका हमको बहुत अच्छी तरह देख रहे हैं, डोंट वरी, हम अच्छी जॉब लेकर आ जाएंगे, 2 साल तक चुप रहिए, बस हम आ जाएंगे बीच बीच में, आपको फ़ोन कर लेंगे once a week. So that's what all students say, and to their parents. So have a great time, go ahead, have a great dinner, and thank you all once again for joining us in this inaugural function. Thank you, sir, and thank you, Mr. Rathore, ma'am, and Dr. Mehta and Dr. Hegde. Yeah, we are through, we are closed. Yes, sir. We are waiting for you to stand, so only then we can proceed. Thank you.